Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19. Welcome back to Geiselsberg. So it is the first day of spring. Made it through winter. Let me show you what is going on here on our farm. Oh, all right. That's the last thing I was looking at on the map, so we're already teed up. So this is all the purple represents all the grass that we harvested last year. Second cut, sort of second cut. And if we go this way, we've got one layer of fertilizer on almost everything. Then we've got a second layer on the grass that we planted in the fall. I'm not really clear on this because I fertilized it after I planted it, right? And I thought that would be our first layer of fert, but I guess there was another layer under there. I'm not sure where that came from or why that's there, but at any rate, we need to fertilize this grass. That is step one. We've also got our sheep. I fed them and watered them this morning, so they're all taken care of. We have 150 of them now, and they are starting to make wool, and I'm concerned. I am concerned, and I'll tell you why. So we bought on the first day of the map last year. Oh, by the way, let me hop out and show you this. We're gonna spread slurry today. This whole rig is rented. I'm really excited for class. Today is the 21st for me. So the DLC, the Platinum Expansion, is going to be released tomorrow, the 22nd. So you'll be seeing this video tomorrow, and the DLC will be released tomorrow. So I'm super excited. So to continue celebrating as we did last episode, we rented a class. And then we've got this marginally bigger slurry spreader. I think it's like 18,000 liters versus 15,000 for ours. But we're going to need to do something about that in the future because this field, this grass field we've created, is very, very big. It's almost problematic big. And we've got some good problems to have on the farm. And I'll tell you about those as we get rolling here. The first one is, last spring we bought 100 sheep, right? During the spring, I was under the impression that they would make like a volume of wool late winter. But I guess, and I think Seasons is pretty accurate. I think the Seasons team, they're pretty serious about what they do as far as, you know, the timing on some of this stuff. I actually do need that. We need to start filling. Fill it, I say. Why aren't we hitting a trigger? Gimme. There it is. There it is. So I think they're pretty accurate. And so they've got it set up that the sheep actually produce wool in the spring. Well, that's cool, but we had sheep last spring. We had 100 of them, and they made 4 pallets of wool. Well, now we have 150. If they do the same thing, won't they make 6 pallets for a total of 10 at 700 euro a piece? All the money that we've put into the sheep, I mean, even just the 60,000 euro, I believe. Yeah, approximately 60,000 euro to buy them, feed them, water them, everything. 7,000 euro. They will make money because now they're going to be making more sheep this year as well. But you see what I'm getting at. It's a lot of work for not a lot of money. So something to keep in mind. How do we do? 2,300 and we're on. Okay, we're actually 22,000 liters. For some reason, I was thinking this is slightly smaller, which is an odd thing to say because I just rented it. Like, didn't you look? Well, I sort of looked. So the sheep, yeah, that's one thing. Let's figure out what to do about that. I'm not opposed to closing down the operation. I don't want to. It's part of our farm. But in the context, like I said last episode, of having a 7,000 euro a year sheep operation right next door to, right, a €1,000,000 per year silage operation, it sort of doesn't make sense. But what can you do? Right, so this thing is, now we got to do this first. We do this, let's put her in gear so we're moving, and we slide our wheels out. Yeah, beautiful. And then we're going to back this up, and I believe there's a sequence to this. I believe we turn the pump on first. No. There we go. We turn the pump on first, and then we start spraying when we lower. Is that correct? No. When we lower, good grief, I'm fighting it today. Yes, and we are spraying. Okay, fantastic. So let's see how far we get today. And I want to not spread on the road. This thing is a little bit awkward to drive. There we go. Much better. First day of spring, you know, it takes a minute to get back into the swing of things. It's true for everybody. So, yeah, the sheep are the first, I don't want to call it a problem, but the first consideration. That's something we need to think about. And the next thing we need to think about is I did, just to confirm that everything was working. In fact, let's hit some cruise control here because we really are kind of struggling. First day of spring. There we go. That's better. I did, just to confirm that everything was working, I did take one trailer load of silage bales down to our new BGA and sell them, put them in the hopper, just as a test, for reals, just as a test. And it was 120,000 liters, right? The trailer that I rented holds 30 bales. They're 4,000 liters apiece, so 120,000 liters. And it took the better part of a day to process that. Now we have bunker space right now for 1.8 million liters. And as I'm doing the math on that, right, I'm seeing like running 24 hours a day, 7 or 8 days to process all of that silage. That could be a problem. I don't think we'll run out of time between cuts. I don't even know if we'll be able to get 2 full cuts done in one season. But you see what I'm getting at. Like, we might actually have such a process to keep that running more or less 24 hours a day. Now, I will use the belts, although we could, if you wanted to, we could swing this carefully so we don't hit our shed. Beautiful. We could buy a wheel loader. I'm thinking out loud here. We could buy a wheel loader. Okay, this is possible. We could buy a wheel loader. I could put in the course play courses while the clamps are all empty. And then we could fill them and maybe unload that way. I don't know. I want it to work, but I think belts are going to be the best way to do it, right? To essentially set up the belts on one pit, right? Turn them on, and then, well, that's still going to require some intervention from us because we're going to need to be either moving the belts further into the pit, right, as the silage is consumed, or up on top of it with a wheel loader pushing it toward the belt to keep it loading. So you see what I mean? For us to get all that silage processed, we're going to need to participate in that. It's I don't know if it can ever be a completely automated procedure. And the thing is, we're going to have other things to do. So this is the fantastic thing about seasons is it gives you these problems to deal with, right? Like, how are we going to, we've got the facilities now, right? And we've certainly got the pasture land to bring in an outrageous amount of grass. But now it becomes, how do we do it? A combination of belts, workers, course play, our own time, various other things. How do we make this all happen so that we can actually convert all of this grass? Because we really have put a tremendous amount of effort into getting all of this ready. How do we convert all of this grass that we have planted now into silage and then consequently into income? How do we do that? So I'm confident we can do it. I'm just curious how we're going to do it. So we'll see how it all works out. But yeah, these are the problems that seasons gives you, and they're good problems to have, and they're fun problems to solve. But things like the wool, I was not counting on that. I really thought we would almost make non-seasons money, and Farm Sim in its basic iteration, right? Without seasons, it's just a fun game to play. And I really love that Seasons has found a way to make it so much more challenging and for me so much more fun. But at the same time, you want it to be challenging and then it is, and it's like, kind of a head scratcher. Now what do we do? So in time, over enough seasons, I believe our sheep operation could be profitable. But as it is right now, I don't think we're going to make a whole lot of money from it in the near term, and I don't think our sheep are really going to pay themselves off for quite a while. Now, if we were playing a long game, and I guess in some ways we are playing the long game, but if we were playing the really long game, I don't know that I would have bought 150 sheep to try to be profitable more quickly. I think I may have bought 20 or 30 and just let them gradually breed up over 7 or 8 years, right? So that's something that can happen also. And this goes to something that I've mentioned, and I've certainly heard other people mention it on their channels, that it is more difficult to make videos with seasons because of things like that. Normally if you're going to, where is it? There it is. Normally if you're going to try to demonstrate something in a video, try to show something being profitable, it's not that you want it to happen like straight away, but you need it to happen in a relatively sort of compacted period of time. So the idea that we would have to record, what are we, 20 videos in, 30, that we would need to record another 60 or 70 videos before you saw the sheep be profitable. I mean, come on, people are patient, but they're not that patient. They need to see some action. So if I wasn't recording it, that would be a possibility as well, is just to buy a few sheep, not put a lot of money into it, and maybe buy a small mower and a small rake, because we've certainly got the grass, right? And the water's free. So at that point, we're putting a lot less money into taking care of our sheep, and we're also having much lower expectations of when they will be profitable. Maybe they'll be profitable in 5 years or 10 years or whatever. Very realistic. It's just not necessarily easy to capture that in a way that is fun and interesting for you to watch. So, yeah, seasons, man. I love it. I really do love seasons, but it's no joke. It will definitely tax you and make you think. So, I'm curious how long it's going to take to get this massive field fertilized, and I'm also curious what it's going to cost. I have been selling bales at the barn, and I paid off about 30% of our loan. We're sitting at 125,000 euro right now. And our passive income, you saw when I showed you the books, our passive income is about 6,000 euro a day. Did I show you the books? I thought I did. Our passive income is about 6,000 euro a day, and our expenses on the farm are about 4,000 euro per day, just for taxes and property maintenance and that sort of stuff. So we're making about 2,000 euro a day just passive income, which is nice. It's keeping the lights turned on, and it's allowing me to plan a little better because I don't have to, like, making it through the winter. I know I didn't have to extend the loan or anything just to keep the lights turned on over the winter. We were able to do that with passive income. So that is cool, and that's working sort of the way I intended it to. And from there, I mean, I guess it's just getting this grass brought in and trying to do it not as efficiently as possible, but yeah, well, I mean, certainly efficiently. I'm going to spray slurry on our driveway just a little bit here till we get pivoted around. Yeah, efficiently, of course, that would be a goal, but also with an eye to expansion. We're going to make some money this season. What do we want to do with it? Now, I've thought about opening up that southern farm again and getting the dairy going. I've also thought about buying some fields that are sort of due east of where we are right now and using those for arable crops, concentrating, getting ready to make a turn here. using those for arable crops, and there's now a problem with that. Always problems. There's a problem with that, and the problem is that we don't have anywhere to store grain at the moment. We do not own a silo. So we've got choices. We could rebuy those silos in town, or I guess it's just one silo, but a crop storage area, the one in town. We could buy that again. Now that's a wash. We bought it once and we sold it for what we paid for it, so we didn't make or lose any money on that. So if we bought it again, we wouldn't be losing money. It's not like we had to, right, pay it off a second time or anything. And it's not far from here. It's right in town, and I believe it holds 400,000 liters, I want to say. So that would work out. That would certainly be convenient and close by. We could also buy the entire southern farm. It's more expensive, but you can do things with it, right? It's not just crop storage. There's also the cow pens are down there, the cow sheds. So we would be able to do more than just store crops there. And then the third thing we could do is we could put silos somewhere in this field, find a flat spot in this field and put a couple of silos here. I thought about it. I sort of did the rough math. I don't know what percentage of this field a silo would take up, but I guess what I'm trying to calculate is if we put a silo in this field, we lose a small area of harvestable grass. I don't know what it would be worth annually, but let's say we lose 5,000 euro of grass revenue annually, right? And we're paying 100,000 euro for one of those places in town, just rough numbers, right? Then it would take 20 years to recover that here versus there. Does that make sense? It's worth 100 grand either way. If we put it here and lose the grass, if we put it there and don't lose the grass, we're going to make a little bit of extra money, 5,000 extra per year. Is it worth it? Does that even matter at that point? And of course, if we built it here, we would also have to pay for it. So it wouldn't just be the small volume of grass that we'd be losing. We'd also have to build the structure itself. You'd see what I'm getting at. I'm just trying to do the math on that and see if it makes sense or what makes more sense. To build a silo here, to buy a silo in town, or to buy the southern farm. I don't have an answer at the moment. And I think it's going to be, convenience will factor in there as well, because the fields that I'm thinking about buying are really just in front of us on the other side of that little road right there. And we're going to fold this now. Yeah, we're going to fold this. And we're going to turn this off. And then as we finish our turn, I'm going to bring these wheels in. All right, like so. And let's hustle back to our sell point, buy another load of slurry. And I'm just going to spray a little bit more and then we'll call it. It's really just going to be this for me for the next several hours till we get this all done. And then I'll jump ahead to either selling wool or possibly even mowing. And again, I don't want to harp on this, but the whole recording videos with seasons, I get it, man. I really do. So it could be that the next thing we have to do is grass work, because that's really all we have to do on our farm at the moment. But you know what? It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the springtime, and I'm certainly enjoying myself playing with our rented equipment. So we'll figure it out. We always do. Where are we at? We're at 20 minutes. Okay, let's get this next load of slurry going, and we may call it midway through, or we may go to the end of it. Right, so we'll go right in here. Get this backed up. I am really looking forward to this Platinum expansion, and I'm still not clear on whether or not there's going to be a new map. I sort of think there is, but then I haven't really seen anything definitive that there is. So, did I say that right? I think there is, but I don't have any confirmation of that. So we'll have to see. I have to say I have not been impressed with the base game maps of late in either 17 or 19. And it could be because my favorite map on 15 was it Bjornholm? Nordholm? The Scandinavian map with the circus. I really like that one. And that was carried over to 17. That was not. 17 was Goldcrest Valley, and what was the other one? I can't even remember. It's all flowing together. So I've not been terribly impressed, and I have a feeling I'm not the only one. And I wonder sometimes if the maps that are included are really just placeholders to give you something to do until a mod map comes out. And that being the case, then I'm curious why Giants wouldn't make, well, I guess I don't need to be curious. I know why. Why wouldn't they make enough of the game code available early for modders to start working on their maps? And the reason they couldn't do that is it would essentially leak the game. You know, it wouldn't be hard to take a look at the code that they sent you to make maps with and do a little reverse engineering and figure out what the next game was going to look like. And I know they kind of want to keep it under wraps. Plus, they're sorting out bugs till the very last day, and it wouldn't work. But it would be cool if on day one or day zero, or however you want to say it, day zero of the new release of a Farm Sim franchise, that there were already mod maps. Not possible. That's the kind of thing that could happen in a perfect world, but it's not a perfect world. So, you know what? We're actually kind of making quick time of this. Maybe, well, we do have the entire West Meadow to do. I don't know. I was thinking a few hours. Yeah, it's probably going to be about a few hours. Probably about a few hours. And then, yeah, we'll figure out next episode. I'm not... Carefully. Don't hit the power pole. Oh, perfect. We'll figure out next episode. But... yeah, I'm really curious to see how this works out, and realizing that there is a limited daily capacity for that little BGA. Now, that's true of the in-game BGA as well, is it not? It's not instantaneous. When you fill the hopper up, eventually it will reach capacity, at least momentarily, and it won't take any more silage. So you can't just dump 1 million liters in there. You can, I think it's 50,000 at a time. So if anything, in that way, our little BGA is more practical because it will hold 150,000 at a time. And it will also take, I believe you can just dump grass directly in there. You don't get nearly as good a price, but you can just dump grass in there, straw, hay, sugar beets, and potatoes, I believe. So it'll eat a lot of things, but pays you different prices for everything. And the only thing that we really have that we could put in there is the silage. I mean, we could put grass in there, but it wouldn't be very efficient. We'd be getting like 20% of what we get for silage. So it makes sense to put the grass, rather than put the grass directly in, let's throw it in a bunker for a few days and let it turn into something much more valuable. So we'll see. I think it's going to be belts. I think that's the most reliable way to do it. I mean, I can certainly build 6 courses in course play to unload just to have them done, right? And we'll see. I guess, well, no, we can't even. I was thinking perhaps we could do both at the same time, but again, it comes down to that daily capacity, the amount that it can process in 24 hours. Doesn't matter how efficiently you get it in there. It's how efficiently the BGA itself gets it out of there. So that's something else to think about. Okay, but there's no reason I can't build those courses in course play and then we have them. So if the wheel loader is a better way to do it, we can just fire up the wheel loader and use those courses. And if the belts work better, we'll do that. And I mean, looking at it, it's centered pretty equally. It's going to be a stretch for the belts. We may need to use the extender, but I think, well, hard to say. We'll find out a few episodes from now whether or not it's going to work the way I'm picturing it in my head. But It's farm sim. It never works out the way I'm picturing it in my head. Never, ever. Never, ever. I like that, though. Always some problem to solve. Always something going on. All right, so we're at coming up on 26 minutes. I think we'll go to the end of this length and call it right there. I know it's been a bit of a haphazard video, but this is really the only thing that we have going on right now, unless I skip to later in the season, but that's no fun. You got to see, you can't just see where we are. You got to see how we got where we are. So we'll go right through here carefully. And I do like this injector. It's, well, for one thing, it's very accurate. It is a specific pasture land injector designed just for grass. And I'm told this is you get a much better yield when the less time your slurry or digestate spends in the air, the less of it evaporates, the less nitrogen you lose, and the better it functions as a fertilizer. So from a practical point of view, this is the way to go. And where's the sun? Let me pivot around here. Turn everything off. We'll try to get a good screenshot. And like so. And then like so. Beautiful. Yep, right there. Right there. We'll set the brake. Turn this off. We'll turn this off. We'll hop out. There you have it. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Farming Simulator 19. This is Geiselsberg map with seasons. We'll see you next time. Take care now.